From foster care to Olympic gold, Simone Biles' true story. Learn English with real stories. Stop scrolling for 10 seconds. Close your eyes. Imagine being 6 years old and nobody wants you. Now open them. What if that unwanted little girl just changed what's possible for every woman on earth? This is not just a story. It's a lesson about turning your worst beginning into your greatest strength. This story will challenge everything about limits. This story will teach you powerful English words. And this story will show you that asking for help isn't weakness, it's wisdom. Her name was Simone Ariane Biles. Simone means listener, and the world had to learn to listen to her. She was born unwanted in Columbus, Ohio, on March 14, 1997. She survived hunger, abandonment, and a system that threw kids away. She became the scared little girl nobody wanted. Then the teenager who dared to dream impossible dreams. Later, the woman who invented moves that defied physics. And finally, the champion who taught the world that mental health matters as much as medals. But greatness always starts in the dark. Chapter 1. Origins, Columbus, Ohio, 1997. A baby cried in a house that smelled like cigarettes and broken promises. Her mother, Shannon, fought demons named cocaine and alcohol. Her father, Kelvin, was a ghost, present in DNA, absent in life. He disappeared when responsibility called. The refrigerator stayed empty. The lights got cut off. Sometimes there was no food for days. 3-year-old Simone learned to quiet her hunger. She learned that adults lie. She learned that home can be the most dangerous place in the world. Every person reading this knows that feeling. Invisible, unwanted, like you don't matter. The difference? Simone decided that feeling was fuel, not truth. Then one day, everything stopped. Social workers arrived, suitcases got packed, 4 kids got scattered like leaves in a storm. Foster care became their reality, the system. Temporary families who got paid to pretend they cared. But sometimes, the universe sends angels with wrinkled hands and fierce hearts. Ron and Nellie Biles lived in Spring, Texas. Ron was Simone's grandfather, Shannon's father. More importantly, they were the people who saw something precious in a broken little girl. Come home, they said. Not visit, not stay for a while. Home. For the first time in her life, someone chose her. Every day. On purpose. One ordinary Tuesday, her daycare took a field trip to Bannon's gymnastics. 6-year-old Simone walked into that gym. She saw girls flying through the air like they had springs in their bones. I want to do that, she whispered. The coach watched this tiny kid copy moves she'd never learned. Perfect form. Zero fear, like her body was designed for defying gravity. At 4 feet 8 inches, Simone was built differently. In gymnastics, there are no height requirements. Being small gives unique advantages: better power-to-weight ratio, faster rotations. The ability to flip like the laws of physics bend to her will. Here's what nobody knew. Simone's brain processed spatial awareness 40% faster than average. Scientists would later discover she could track her position in midair with fighter pilot precision. This one's different, the coach told Nellie. She had no idea that different meant rewriting human possibility. But first, Simone would learn that dreams have a price that breaks most people. Chapter 2. First, struggles. Greatness costs everything, but not everyone is willing to pay. Ron worked double shifts in the oil fields. Nellie cleaned other people's houses until her knees screamed. They sacrificed vacations, new clothes, date nights. Everything went to gym fees that cost $15,000 per year. We believe in you, they told Simone. But you have to want this more than breathing. At age 8, Simone started competing locally. By 14, she'd reached elite level, the highest rank in gymnastics, where girls compete who've been training since they could walk. Here's what elite training really means: 6 hours daily, 6 days a week, 1,872 hours per year. More time than most adults spend at their jobs. While other kids played video games, Simone practiced backflips on concrete. While they went to sleepovers, she fell asleep with ice packs. While they complained about homework, she did algebra between training sessions. She was different, shorter than most gymnasts, more muscled, more explosive. "You're too powerful," some coaches said. "Gymnastics is about elegance, not force." But Amy Borman saw what others missed. "Your power isn't a flaw to fix, it's a weapon to perfect." Here's what made Simone extraordinary. She didn't just train harder, she thought differently. While other gymnasts perfected existing skills, Simone visualized moves that didn't exist yet. Scientists later studied her brain during training. When she imagined new skills, her neural pathways fired in patterns they'd never seen. Her mind literally rewired itself to create impossible movements. At 16, she faced the choice that separates dreamers from legends. Stay comfortable or risk everything for something that might not exist. "I want to be the best who ever lived," she told her parents. That choice would break the laws of physics, but first, it would almost break her. What happens when a girl decides to attempt the impossible? Chapter 3. The Turning Point, 2013 World Championships, Antwerp, Belgium. 16-year-old Simone stood in an arena filled with the best gymnasts on earth, champions who'd won everything, girls who made gymnastics look like poetry. "I don't belong here," her mind whispered. Then the music started, and something extraordinary happened. When Simone flips, she experiences 6 times the force of gravity. Fighter pilots black out at 9 Gs. She does this while making it look like ballet. Her body moves like controlled lightning, with power that launches her 3 meters in the air, higher than a car. She spins at 1,000 RPM, faster than a motorcycle engine. She didn't just win that first world championship, she dominated it, and she did something no human had ever done. She created skills so revolutionary they were named after her. The Biles collection became gymnastics legend, the Biles floor. Imagine launching yourself higher than a car, then add a half twist. That's 1,400 pounds of force on landing. The Biles 2, floor, triple twisting chaos that looks impossible, because it almost is. The Biles vault, 3.2 seconds of pure flight, like having wings for breakfast. The Biles beam, death-defying dismount on a surface 4 inches wide. Mathematicians say it shouldn't work. The Biles 2, beam, a double-double that makes other gymnasts weep, and quit. 5 moves, 5 impossibilities, 5 ways to rewrite physics. But here's what happens when you redefine possible. Everyone expects you to do it again, and again, and again. Every night after winning, Simone lay awake, drowning in expectation. The pressure was suffocating. Everyone expected perfection from a teenager still learning who she was. "Maybe I'm not strong enough for this," she confessed to Nellie during a breakdown. Her grandmother held her face in weathered hands. "Baby girl, you weren't made to fit in their boxes. You were made to build new ones." By 2016, Simone had collected 4 world championship all-around titles. She was ready for the biggest stage in sports. The Olympics were calling, but so were the demons that would nearly destroy her. What no one knew, in a doctor's office 1,000 miles away, a predator was planning how to shatter everything she'd built. Chapter 4, Success and Impact, Rio de Janeiro, 2016, the Olympic Games. Every camera, every eye, every dream in America pointed at one 4'8" girl. She carried the weight of a nation's expectations. She could have crumbled. Instead, she soared. 4 gold medals, 1 bronze. Performances that forced the entire sport to rewrite its rulebook. But here's what made those performances impossible. Simone was competing while being systematically abused. Every flip was an act of defiance. Every landing was a refusal to break. She used her platform to change lives. With 12+ million followers watching her every move, she spoke about adoption, about mental health, about believing in yourself when the world says you're not enough. She partnered with brands like Athleta, Visa, and United Airlines. Her influence built a $25 million empire. More importantly, it built hope in little girls who looked like her. "I want girls to know they can be more than their worst day," she said. By 2024, her medal collection told the story of dominance. 11 Olympic medals, 30 World Championship medals, 41 pieces of hardware that proved excellence has no expiration date. But here's what those medals hide. Simone earns only $147,500 total from all her Olympic victories. Less than 1% of her $25 million net worth. The real money? $11 million in 2024 alone. From brands desperate to associate with greatness. In 2024, $200,000 from competition, $11 million from influence. The math is clear. Her values are worth more than her victories. Her Netflix documentary, Simone Biles Rising, revealed the truth behind her success. Not just talent, not just training, but a mind that refused to accept limitations. Sports psychologists studied her mental approach. They discovered she could reset her emotional state in 7 seconds, faster than most people could process disappointment. At 27, she became the oldest U.S. Olympic gymnast in 72 years. Age wasn't a limit. It was armor built from experience. But while everyone celebrated her wins, she was carrying a secret that threatened to destroy everything. Because the hardest battles aren't fought in arenas. They're fought in the silence between heartbeats. Chapter 5. Conflict and Pain. The hardest truth about heroes: they bleed in private. For years, Simone trusted Dr. Larry Nassar, team doctor, supposed healer, the man every parent believed would keep their daughters safe. She was just a child when it started. The treatments that felt wrong but came from a doctor. So they must be right, right? "I thought it was normal," Simone would later say. "I was just a kid who didn't know better." Here's what breaks the heart. Simone excelled despite being systematically abused. Every gold medal was won while carrying this secret. Every smile hid this pain. It wasn't until 2016 that the crushing truth hit her. When she was 19 and other survivors found their voices. She wasn't getting medical treatment. She was being victimized, along with hundreds of other young athletes. For years, she'd blamed herself for feeling uncomfortable, for having weird thoughts about a respected doctor. In 2018, Simone's hands shook as she typed 8 words that changed everything. "I too am one of the many survivors." The revelation shattered her. But speaking truth, even when it destroys you, is how heroes are born. September 2021, United States Senate. The most powerful room in America fell silent as Simone spoke. "I blame Larry Nassar, and I also blame an entire system that enabled his abuse. USA Gymnastics and the United States Olympic Committee knew I was abused. Long before I was made aware of their knowledge." Here's what happened in that room. 200 senators and reporters watched as this 24-year-old woman looked the most powerful men in America in the eye. Her voice never wavered. Her truth was unbreakable. Here's what her testimony accomplished. Justice had a price tag. $1.018 billion in total settlements. Each dollar a wound recognized. Each payment an apology written in numbers. Larry Nassar received 175 years in prison. He will die behind bars. But the money told the real story of failure. USA Gymnastics, $380 million. For years of looking away. Michigan State University, $500 million. For a campus that became hunting ground. The FBI, $138.7 million. For 421 days of dangerous delays. 265 plus official victims found their voices. But Simone's courage protected thousands more who would come after. Her testimony birthed the Protecting Young Victims from Sexual Abuse Act of 2017. It established the U.S. Center for Safe Sport. It mandated athlete voices on every board. It closed the Karolyi Ranch forever. She wasn't just seeking justice for herself, she was building armor for the future. But trauma doesn't disappear because someone speaks about it. It follows people into arenas, into dreams, into moments when they should feel invincible. Tokyo 2021, the Olympics that almost weren't. In a world still broken by pandemic. During warm-ups, something snapped. Simone lost track of where she was in the air. Gymnasts call it the twisties. It's like losing your GPS mid-flight. Your brain's navigation system goes dark. The cerebellum stops talking to your body. You're traveling 25 miles per hour, 10 feet in the air, and suddenly you don't know up from down. It's terrifying, dangerous, potentially deadly. Medical studies show this happens to 30 to 60% of elite athletes. The twisties can last days, weeks, even months. There's no padding that makes it safe, no amount of training that can overcome it. The whole world watched as she made a choice that required more courage than any gold medal. She stepped back. "I have to focus on my mental health," she announced. The internet exploded. Some called her weak, a quitter, un-American. But Simone knew something they didn't. Sometimes the strongest thing is asking for help. She came back for one event, balance beam, won bronze, proved that healing and excellence can coexist. Meanwhile, love found her in the most unexpected place. Jonathan Owens, an NFL safety who'd never heard of gymnastics. He saw her not as a champion, but as a woman worth knowing. They married in 2023. Suddenly, Simone had something she'd always craved. Someone who loved her not for her medals, but for her Tuesday morning laugh. With therapy, love, and time, she rebuilt herself. Not as the perfect gymnast the world wanted, but as the complete human she needed to be. "I'm more than my medals," she said. "I'm a survivor. I'm human. That's enough." But the question remained. Could lightning strike twice? Legacy and reflection. What greatness really means. Paris 2024. The City of Lights became the stage for the most beautiful comeback in sports history. At 27, Simone stepped back into the arena that had once broken her. But this time was different. She wasn't carrying the world's expectations. She was carrying her own truth. 3 gold medals, 1 silver, and a moment that redefined greatness. When Brazil's Rebeca Andrade beat Simone in the floor exercise final, something magical happened. The arena held its breath. Simone and Jordan Chiles looked at each other. No words needed. They knew what greatness looked like. Together, they dropped to their knees. They bowed to Rebeca on the Olympic podium. The arena fell silent. Cameras clicked. But no sound was louder than the quiet dignity of 3 women kneeling, rewriting not just history, but humanity. "She deserved it," Simone said simply. "She had the best routine of the day." The world stopped. That image became the defining photo of the Games. 3 black women on the podium, silver and bronze medalists honoring the gold medalist, not because of who won, but because of how they celebrated each other. Rebecca later said, "It still gives me goosebumps. We showed the world what sisterhood looks like." But here's Simone's greatest achievement. She changed what strength means. When she stepped away from Tokyo, she gave every human permission to prioritize their mental health. She started a global conversation that saved lives and careers. Athletes in every sport began speaking openly about anxiety, depression, and the pressure to be perfect. Simone's courage created a ripple effect that touched millions. The numbers prove her impact. She earns $25 million net worth, but only $147,500 came from Olympic prizes. The other, $24. $85 million, brands paying to associate with her values. In 2024 alone, $11 million off the field, $200,000 on it. Money isn't her legacy. Change is. The girl nobody wanted became the woman everyone needs. What makes Simone extraordinary isn't just her ability to flip higher than anyone else. It's her courage to fall, get up, and show others how to do the same. Now, at 28, she's contemplating Los Angeles 2028. "Never say never," she says. "But I'm getting really old." She's focused on life with Jonathan, possibly starting a family, using her voice to protect the next generation of athletes. Here are 5 specific lessons from Simone's story. First, transform abandonment into advantage. When people reject you, use that pain to build unshakable self-worth. Simone's early rejection taught her that her value doesn't depend on others' approval. Write down one rejection that hurt you. Find how it made you stronger. Second, master the mental game alongside the physical. Simone spent 30 minutes daily visualizing success and practicing failure recovery. Your mind needs training like your body. Pick one area of your life. Spend 10 minutes daily mentally rehearsing success. Third, redefine your limitations by questioning them. Simone created moves others said were impossible because she asked, "Why not?" instead of "Why me?" Identify one impossible goal you've abandoned. Ask what would need to be true to make it possible. Fourth, use your platform to protect others. Simone's Senate testimony prevented future abuse by changing policies. When you gain influence, ask who needs your voice. Find one person who needs an advocate. Speak up for them this week. Fifth, asking for help multiplies your strength. Simone's decision to prioritize mental health in Tokyo took more courage than winning gold. Strength isn't doing everything alone. It's knowing when to reach out. Identify one area where you need help. Ask someone this week. Now it's your turn. What impossible dream are you too scared to chase? What truth are you afraid to speak? What would you attempt if you knew that falling was just another way to learn how to fly? Your story isn't over. It's just getting started. And remember, you're not just learning English. You're learning how to rewrite the story of what's possible. Keep learning. Keep believing. Keep rising. If this story changed something inside you, hit that like button, drop a comment about which lesson hit you hardest, and subscribe to English Life Stories, where real stories become real power and better English becomes a better life. We have stories of champions, rebels, and ordinary people who did extraordinary things, all waiting to help you discover the hero in your own story. See you next time, champions.